Alright folks, welcome to this exciting video where once again we're joined by the channel DJ here, and once again we're on a mission in the Angus countryside folks. Today's mission, we're going to find the wreckage of a crashed World War II plane. A Wellington Vickers plane folks, crashed on this hill here, World War II, and we're going to find the wreckage. And yeah, I think we'll lay a poppy on the wreckage too folks, as a sign of our respect and in remembrance of the folk that died here in the plane crash. We have known about this plane up here for a while, but it's just getting the right conditions and the right time of year, because literally we're going up on this wild hilltop here and the rain was super heavy a minute ago. I've put on this thicker coat because the rain was so heavy, so if it comes back on, I'm prepared folks. That's what it's like. This is proper wild Scottish hilltop. Look at this folks, we've come further up the hill and look at this view that we're blessed with here. Just absolutely incredible. In the distance you can see early monument and stuff on top of the hill. It's like they've been taking loads of wood out up there or something. The tree's totally bare nowadays. But wow, what a scene. We're just about at the top of the hill here where Loch Wirral is. This is Glen Clova that we're in, this wild rugged territory. And yeah, Loch Wirral's up here, so because it's quite windy, I'll just update you once we're at the top of this path. Look how far we are up on the hill now folks, and I can now see the little bothy at Loch Wirral. We've been walking for about 40 minutes, 35 to 40 minutes to get this far. Honestly, the view is just incredible. There is an ice cold wind blowing through here though, so yeah, I'll update you when we're at the bothy. Look at this folks, the wind is so strong here, I'm almost leaning into the wind. Yeah, so look at this folks, we're now up the hill and we've made it as far as this little bothy, which is the Loch Wirral bothy. It used to be open for walkers and stuff, if you got caught in a storm you could shelter in here. But I think when the COVID thing kicked off, there was people coming up here for Dundee and stuff and staying the weekend, trashing the place. So they've just locked it up just now. Probably because of the COVID, they'll use it when they're shooting and stuff up on the hill. But this is a good little sheltering area here from the wind, because the wind has just been extreme, blowing in our faces the whole way up here. The landscape is just incredible. But now we're away to head on up this direction up here to the top of the hill and then head on out to find this crashed aircraft. But it's quite a cool spot here. What do you think of it here? Amazing, eh? It's a shame we couldn't get into this bothy. Look at the wind round this corner, it's just gusting. You can see the loch here. It's just a crazy scene out here folks. I say it most places I go, but the wild landscape here is the incredible thing. Right folks, we've sheltered behind here for 5 minutes, just out of the extreme winds. Now we're away to head on up here, so yeah, we'll update you. This is a way to be the crazy part of the mission up here. The view is just going to get even better. We'll be able to see for miles. Look at this folks, we're in this extreme wind situation here and look how high we've climbed up on this hill here. It's literally like being on top of the world. And we're still on this mission, climbing. This is crazy folks, look how high on the hill we are here. This view in front of us is just majestic. We're looking into parts of the valley we couldn't see originally when we were walking up by Loch Wirral and stuff. But from what we can see on the Google Earth images and stuff, or is it an Ordnance Survey map, we think it's on top of that hill which is in the distance there in front of us. So we're just heading that way. We're just heading that way right now folks, but literally the landscape is just wild and there's a bit less wind at this side of the hill, but it still is a wee bit windy landscape here is just breathtaking, folks. That's the hill we were intending on going up, but literally we're starting to run out of time and run out of daylight today. So this might have to be one of these adventures where we come back, unfortunately. But like the rest of this adventure is going to be us trying to get off this hill before the sun sets. So yeah, it's going to still be pretty cool here. Because literally this land here is wild and untamed. And there's peat bogs here you could disappear in within an instant. Oh look, here's the remains of an old wall or something. Look at that, folks, I was about to start recording the clip here. My foot went in that hole. That was mental. Right, look at this, we've come along the hill a little bit to see this. And it turns out we're on top of a cliff here. So somebody's built this wall on top of a cliff. Crazy, folks. Unreal coming at the top of a hill like this, overlooking this wild landscape, and then finding an ancient stone structure like this. It's breathtaking. It's honestly like going to another planet or something, or again, it's like being in a movie set from another land. But yeah, here it is. This is old, like, judging by the amount of moss and stuff that's grown on it. It's an old marker to something. It's maybe covering the entrance to an old underground land. Wow, this is incredible, this stone thing. Every footstep we'll have to be so careful. We've literally walked miles and the land here is dangerous and rugged. And then we've made it to this. This is actually a cool thing though. We wouldn't have seen this if we hadn't turned and come further down this way. Wow. And it's just over the top of this wild boglands in front of us. They've obviously built this at one time. Maybe like a cairn or a marker. I think we'll have to continue to walk back around here and then over there. Or we could just go down that way and over. But that's dangerous down there. But then see if we came back around the bottom of here. This is the route. If we come back around the bottom of here, we can go across there. Where it's not peat, like that there. Yeah, we'll know how to worry about any of that. We can just come, that's what we'll do. It's often good, folks, when you have a good vantage point to plan your route ahead. Because situations like this, when you're racing against the sunset and stuff, you need to have your wits about you, or you can get trapped up here on the hill. Because if it's dark, you've got no chance of seeing where there's like peat bogs, or you can't even plan like 10 metres in front of you once it's dark. So yeah, it's cool to do that now when we've got a good view of the land. It's so cool, folks, to see a stone structure like this on the hill. This has been a cool thing to see on this walk, and this is such an incredible view at this spot. This would actually be a cool spot to come to just to chill out one day. I'm glad we found this on the hill. And if we hadn't decided to turn back the wrong direction, we never would have found this. So it was totally worth it. Now we really just need to get down off this hill. And I think down this way appears to be the right way, because this cliff in front of us leads right around the hill. So it could be a longer walk. And also the sunshine, we'd be in the sunshine if we go the other way.
That's where we are, eh?
So it's been so cool to come and see this new ancient historical wonder on the hill here, folks. This is like an accidental find on a spontaneous adventure. Sometimes that is the coolest things to find. Sometimes people say, like, how do you find the stuff you explore? And literally it's just by exploring, and then you just find random incredible things hidden in nature, hidden in the countryside. You obviously have to be careful when you explore some estates, because they'll be shooting kind of stuff like that. But yeah, there's loads of cool bits of history just hidden in the wild hills. Compared to the start of the video when it was windy, like now it's just peaceful and stunning. And we're about to go down over that vast wild landscape. It's incredible how sections of the hill can just end up having stones like this on them. Other bits it's just earth and peat bogs just for miles. Right folks, so we've just realised this ancient stone structure we've been looking at, Channel DJ just pointed out, this is highly likely to be an ancient settlement here, overlooking this land here, because you can see all the way to the sea. And then this stones is similar to what we've seen at other hilltop forts from like almost 2,000 years ago. People would have been staying at places like this, and that makes sense. That's why these stones are arranged here in this way. But because of the vast length of time, that's how they're no like in any sort of form other than a pile of rubble. But like that could be the remains of an ancient, what at one time was a big tower or an outside wall of the fort.
I feel like it's almost...
Yeah, there's almost a shape to it. And it's like they're on top of a cliff, which is the same as what we saw at the Turin Hill Fort. We've been to so many forts recently, we didn't even realise that we were going to find an ancient fort, and it's like we've almost walked straight to it. And like we've just discovered it, and I've not even heard anyone talk about this. Ancient hill fort here folks at Glen Clova. So I was just thinking folks, like at one time the view from this fort on the cliff top here would have been overlooking the canopy of like, well, the top of trees, wouldn't it? Could have been like looking out over a sea of trees. And back in those days it wasn't like people lived in cities and towns, it was small little settlements like that. And that was way back early in like history that we don't even know what happened back then. But the evidence of these forts is here in Scotland, and a lot of them are undocumented. Yeah, even here, it's like there's been something here. You could argue, yes, it's just stones, but yeah, I truly believe from what I've seen with forts over the years, like this is what we're seeing here, like. And the only other stones I can see like that, they must have carried them from, well, I suppose back then you don't know how the land looked. There might have been stones nearby. Yeah. So there we go folks, up on the summit of that cliff up there you can see that tower thing that we were at a minute ago in the video, and it is crazy to find like an undocumented fort way up here in the hill when originally we were on a different adventure. But it's so cool to see it like way up there, and wow. Like the land here, we're on this steep as anything hill trying to get down. It could actually be getting dark by the time we get to the road. But I just thought, yeah, I'll video it because we can see the tower on the summit of the hill. The silhouette of it. The sun's starting to get that red tinge to it before sunset. It could be quite a cool sunset. But one bonus, I think it's pretty much a full moon tonight. So that'll give us more light if it does get dark. But normally once it starts to get dark, the wind fades away as well. But it's more for navigation when it's dark. It's hard to tell like what way you're going, so yeah, I'll update you once we're down here. It's real adventures folks, that's what I say in my videos, and it's no joke. Like these lands here are untamed. These hills here, when you look on Google Earth or something, you can't tell the wildness and the ruggedness of the terrain, the high altitude that you're dealing with on a hill like this. We're probably lacking oxygen and stuff, and yeah, it adds to the madness of the adventure. But it was a total mission to climb up the other side of that hill, and it's a lot easier to climb down for sure. This has been such a crazy adventure folks. We're literally still walking at absolute miles, and now we can see there's a herd of stags and deer up on the hill up here. That'll be Clova's stags, probably they use for when they're shooting at the deer. And the massive cliff behind us is where that old fort is on top of. And we can now see the sun starting to set by the red clouds here above our heads. There's honestly crazy big bits washed out from the water running off the hill as well. So we're just being super careful underfoot. But yeah, we're probably like a mile away from the road, so we're just keeping the pace going. That's important on a long mission. See under here, you hear the water. You can't even see that there's water there. So it's super dangerous. Look folks, we've just noticed on the hill further down, the last pillar we were at was at the top of that hill. But up here at this hill there's another ancient stone pillar with the same style. And that's incredible, because we're literally like still walking. Oh, your boys are total slipping around. We're still walking along the hill here and we're absolutely knackered. The terrain's just the most extreme you can imagine and it's never ending. We're just putting one foot in front of the other till we get back to the main road. There's honestly peat bogs and deep holes. Yeah, we need to get to these trees that's there really. Look at this folks, on the middle of the hill. We're still literally walking down here and still the sun is setting. But look, there's this strange little stone bit here in the hill. Oh, it's maybe a little shooting stance or something. Something like that. It's crazy folks, we're still making our way down the hill. We've come so far into this wild landscape that, like, it's just crazy. I wouldn't even advise people come here. It's just going to be dark by the time we get to the main road. Yeah, 3 hours we've been walking on this unforgiving terrain folks. That's what adventures are all about. We can actually hardly walk any further because our legs are so painful. And there's just no like level bits of terrain. Some of these bits where they've been burning heather is the best bits to walk on. And the light is starting to fade. Listen, there's water underfoot here. It's right along here. This is incredible folks. There's actually a heavy rainstorm making its way down Clova right now. We're just making our way over this last piece of bogland before we get down to the car. It's been a tough adventure. The landscape's been tough and it's been really difficult to walk on it. But it is always cool to come out here and keep documenting these Scottish adventures and sharing another bit of land with the world. Like this crazy wild hilltop where it's no advice to come to because it's just honestly deep bogs and unforgiving heather hills. And there is like old remains of fence lines and stuff, but yeah, it's difficult to navigate. And I think there's water there to the right of us. We'll have to keep watching it for the water because it can be many feet deep. Like that folks, see right there. Watch out here as well. I'll go and check the terrain here. We might have to go to this fence. We're just about at it. Yeah, I would say here's an alright area. See, it's getting really dangerous here. It's one footstep at a time folks, because you can literally disappear in a peat bog deeper than under your head. And there's actually no walking out of it, like you would just, it's the end, it's like quicksand but worse. But that's the sort of experience. You're better not coming on these hills unless you can deal with land like this, because the ground just looks the same everywhere. But yet there can be like a 3-foot void just anywhere, like there for instance. Do you think we'd be better? I suppose it looks not so bad over here. Solid grass here. There is some little like good bits of ground, but most of it's just an absolute horror show. And now the rain's coming on folks, it's like these explorers are just incredible. You can never get the atmosphere across after walking that many miles when your body's aching through this vast landscape. Look, here's a proper track. Do you think we should just go down here? Proper track here folks. Probably the sensible thing to do would be to go down that track, but let's just go as the crow flies. It looks like that rainstorm's kind of fizzled out. Yes, we're in luck folks. and it's still light enough that I can actually see. I think there's a couple of raindrops on the lens now. Right folks, we're still on this mission, and not for the first time on this walk. We've got burns at both sides of us here, and they're really hard to navigate. Channel DJ's got wet feet now from an earlier incident on the hill, but we're nearly at the car now. The brightness of this clip here now is enhanced because it's so dark out here compared to what you see on the video. It's just so dark out here. We're just navigating our way back to this last bit before we get to the car, and it's been an incredible adventure. We didn't see like the original thing we set out to see, but we found that old fort, and this mission across the hill, it's been next level. It's been a battle against bogs and crazy terrain. It's almost like unwalkable and unpassable, but that's what feeds the adventure, folks. And then check out this sunset in front of us. It's like pretty much right down now. The sky's still got a slight orange tint to it. But yeah, these hills here, it's just massive vast lands, like miles and miles of just bogland all the way to Aberdeenshire. I don't know if that star up there will come out on the footage. The sky just looks amazing at this time of night. It's always like when you think you're next back to the car, folks, that there's another bog in front of you. This terrain is just unforgiving. It's relentless. And like for another adventure, we've ended up walking until the sun sets. That's often the coolest videos. Like we've gotten the maximum out of the day that we could have. It's been so cool. Right folks, that has been a crazy abandoned fort which we accidentally found, and it's been another cool sunset adventure right here on the channel. But yeah, I'll end this one here. Tune in again very soon for the next adventure. Don't know where I'm going next, but yeah, it'll be some abandoned wonder of Scotland for sure. But yeah, I'll say goodbye. Goodbye for your channel DJ. See you soon folks.